Yes, good afternoon, our viewers. Once again, welcome to Hot Tech. We do this every week, every Tuesday, from one to 2 p.m. So we want to thank all our viewers, all the people who have really subscribed to the channel. Today we have a lot in the stock. We have the Olympics basketball. In particular, we shall be looking at South Sudan, and also we shall be looking at local sports, and that is Coach Dusan living SC Villa today. And with me here is my co-host Hudson Mugweri.
Yeah, thank you very much for this wonderful moment. And I'm happy I'm back on the show and talking basketball. We are talking sports, we are talking football, we are talking Olympics. So generally, it's going to be interesting, it's going to be massive, and hope everyone.
Yes, we'll start with basketball, Paris Olympics, South Sudan. It is stunned Puerto Rico in one of their in their first game in the Olympics, picking their first points in the Olympics, winning by 90 to 79. If you very well know, Puerto Rico is the team that really defeated South Sudan in the FIBA Olympics World Cup last year in overtime. So it was more of a revenge for South Sudan. South Sudan has really been South Sudan basketball has been on the news, especially for in the American media, starting with critics. Some would call unfounded from Gilbert Arenas, Paul Pierce. For Gilbert Arenas, his comment was a bit, someone would call a bit racist, a bit below the belt. But South Sudan has really come out to silence its critics. What did you pick out from this game, Mr. Hudson?
It was an interesting game, I would say. Though the first half, everyone was under pressure with the way Puerto Rico was shooting the ball. They were so good at the 3 point line. We saw in the first half. I think Jose Alvarado had over 15 points in that first half. He was on fire. And when he got injured, I was like, is he out or is he in? But such a player, I don't wish him bad. You just will be like, okay, let him recover and he comes back to play basketball. But with the way South Sudan gathered in the second half, you saw they started dropping the 3 pointer, and their defense also was adjusted a little bit because Puerto Rico was good at the 3 point line, so they had to make sure they adjust on that defense to stop them from at least scoring those 3 pointers so that they can at least take a drive. And South Sudan with their height, blocks were happening there and picking up rebounds so well as well. Credit to Gabriel who had, I think, 9 rebounds in that game. Though he had, I think, 6 points, but he had 9 rebounds in that game. Of course, Jones had his 19 points in that game. You know what he can do on that floor with that well. Though they were playing pressure because he's the main guy in South Sudan team. So Rando was playing full press on him, and they would also after it was written because saw them in the FIBA World Cup how they beat South Sudan in the overtime. But South Sudan came up with a good strategy with coach Levy. I'll give him credit with his rotation of the team. Everyone I think played more than everyone played more than South Sudan team. This person who played, I think, at that club at least they all delivered. Uh, we saw how Sherlock was playing his good offense because they had 12 points in the game and I think 5 rebounds as well. Generally, it was a good game and it was an eye opener. All the people were undermining South Sudan because actually the eye opener was against USA, that exhibition game, stroke the friendly game, that opened the eyes of many teams that like, this team you're going to face is a team. And I just hope they get another big win against Serbia because I told you South Sudan will beat Puerto Rico and they also they will beat Serbia. So the two wins I expect them to win because for the USA it's a different thing because exhibition basketball is different from the real basketball. We saw them against Serbia how they demolished Serbia, but everyone was like, wow. Giannis is not on the floor because they demolished them, but with the return of Kevin Durant, who dropped those 3 point thing. So generally, I would say South Sudan is playing against USA tomorrow at 10 p.m. People should be ready for that game. Right now, of course, team basketball is going on. There's Greece against Spain. Right now, it's going on. And then another African giant won their first game against Australia. That's Nigeria. Beat Australia in the opener of the Olympics. That's the ladies, because in Africa we're represented by two countries, Nigeria and South Sudan, and both of them had their first wins. And Nigeria beat Australia 75 on 62. It was a good game. The ladies played their hearts out. With all the struggles from the federation, with all how the federation mixes these players when it comes to finances, when it comes to other things, because truth be told, Nigeria is a whole of country. It's not like how we are as Uganda financially, but the struggles are on another level in that country. But the ladies, they're like, you know what, whatever happens, let's go for Olympics, let's deliver. In their group, of course, they have Canada in there, they have France as well. So only two wins are enough for them to go to the quarterfinals. So I expect a good fight from them and they get those wins. So I would say Africa is well represented with South Sudan winning their first game and Australia winning their first game. So we hope for the best from these countries.
Yeah, and in that game, South Sudan won the rebounding battle, 55-37, picking up 8 offensive rebounds with an incredible 24 to 22 advantage, 24 to 2 advantage in the second chance points. For me, I would say that this game was won due to the physicality of South Sudan. They out-rebounded the opponents, and I think they learned their lessons against Puerto Rico, the game that they lost in overtime in FIBA. Yeah, if you're looking at, you're very right. If you look at Serbia, Serbia is a winnable game, and I really fancy South Sudan to really progress deeper into the semifinals and the quarterfinals and the semifinals. Yeah, which other team would you really see as a threat apart from the US?
Of course, you look at Germany, it's also a big threat. The world champions, they come in as I think they're ranked among the top five. You look at Canada, 10 of the players are NBA players, so they're not a joke as well.
Mm,
Of course, we can't forget Spain because they've been number two in the world for quite some time.
mm,
They have a big host, not forgetting, of course,
mm,
hosts France. But
mm.
the top three teams I'm looking at, I look at USA, I look at Canada, and I look at Germany in this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. So, South Sudan, I also saw somewhere in social media, it's a game that was watched. A lot of people are saying that this game has really united the people of South Sudan, and you will very well know that South Sudan has been going through civil war, but you would see the people in Juba, in big numbers, coming up to support their team. Uh, yeah, that was what really happened in Juba. South Sudan has really uh, united the people there, and it has really put up a point that it's one of the biggest basketball nations in the country, and it has shed a spotlight to that country. We'll move on into basketball. This is local basketball, NBA playoffs. Uh, what do you have from your side in the playoffs? We saw KU Titans progressing in the expense of the Jaguars. And how do you see these pictures in the NBL playoffs?
Of course, when we're here before the playoffs started, I told you the teams which are going to go to the next level. And I told you a sweep for KIU, and it happened against Jaguars. It happened. Then in the ladies, of course, Jekyll, that was a must. Uh, Also, the biggest game of the Jaguars biggest year over. And still, JT Jaguars came from down to win that game because when going in the third quarter, they're 15 points down. But with the way the leadership of Sarageno, the way Roda handled the ball so well. I'm talking about former UC players, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, former UC Lady Cannons players, like students and the players, the way they showed, yeah, the way they showed leadership, the way they handled, the way they play the kind of game they played, hence getting that win, which means JT Jaguars in the semi-finals. They swept SSCA, and everyone was in Coca. It's a big game. And today we have big games as well. UCU Cannons will take on KCCA Panthers. That's the many side. Then the ladies Magic Stormers will be taking on UC Lady Cannons. The first game is at 7 p.m. and then the second game is at 9 p.m. Of course, you'll be at YMCA. So it is a fixed. It's a tight schedule. And if both teams, if UCU and Lady Cannons win, that means we shall be going into we shall be looking forward to the semi-finals because we shall be done with the quarterfinals. Those are the teams which are remaining, so that we go into the semi-finals. So if both teams, Cannons and Cannons on Friday, and the fixture will be adjusted, I know, by the federation.
Absolutely. There's this news of Rutete. Yeah, you broke this news. I saw it on your Twitter feed. Tejan Rugete, yeah, Tejan Rugete, Silverbacks captain, junior Silverbacks captain, will be participating in the NBA camp in Johannesburg. Uh, what does this really mean for such a young player, and what do you see is NBA or college prospects?
We've seen this camp happen for some good years. We've seen players go there, the likes of Tim Genoa once there, the likes of Jerry Katumba once there. These were local based players, and many other players are there. But this camp helps a lot the kids to adjust, then to learn more from these so-called coaches, because these are also coaches from some of them are from the NB Academy in Africa. So this camp happens every year, and this time around it's in Johannesburg. And of course, in Uganda, they picked Joel Rogete Tejan, who is the junior Silverbacks captain. And of course, it's happening over the weekend. I think it's starting like on starting on third or fourth. Yeah, it's a 2-3 day camp. But it will help him to learn a lot and make some adjustments. Because I was talking to one of the coaches who told me he needs to he needs to adjust, he needs to make some adjustments to that jump of his. Yes, he can take a drive, he can assist, but that shooting has to be adjusted a little. So I'm sure he will learn more out of that, because even if it's one day, you can learn something out of one. I know he's the person who works out so hard. He's always busy, so we expect a lot from that camp. I know you learn a lot from the camp, but somehow, somewhere, it builds the kid. It makes the kid grow and grow more in terms of basketball. So this will help you learn a lot from in terms of basketball.
Yes, Tejan Joel Rugete was one of the outstanding performers in the junior Afro basketball that happened in Kampala 2 months ago, a month ago, which was really, really remarkable. What an outstanding player. So anyway, we'll try to advance this conversation. This week we got news that this is local football. We got news that uh, Villa coach Dusan has departed, and there are many things we've been talking about Villa. Actually, we've been having a spotlight on Villa for quite some time, and we have been really pointing out a lot of things, including the revolt in the dressing room. You remember that time when uh, Kasinje came out, tried to patch up some gaps there in terms of information. Though we found out later that he got the there's some information that really came through him that were not that turned out to be really false. Like for example, the signing of Joe, uh, the revolt in the room started with Semakula leaving. I remember last time we spoke about Semakula, why Villa cannot break the bank for the young player. Then after before going to the Sekafa, we had this revolt, Sechiganda, Kakande, Gavin Chizito ending up going. Uh, and you have always pointed out these things that there's a way Villa management of Villa that is really holding up in terms of progress. You know, even I remember the CEO coming up, the engineer came by saying that for them they don't give out sign-on fees. With Villa's issues, for me, I feel like we are yet to see more revolts in the dressing room. Remember, we still have Sisganda there, we have Kakande there, and this all turns out to be because of payments, bonuses, and all that. And with the coach leaving, do you think the board wasn't willing to support the coach in terms of playing continental football with a budget that really make him really play very well in the continental football? For me, this is what I'm picking out, and we have always had this conversation way back. I don't know what you had, what you're picking out from Villa's camp, but I'm sure you have some information there that can try and iron out these issues that's happening in Villa.
It so happens the sacking of the coach allegations started way back even last season and before the season ended. Of course, I got that thing like one of the journalists who said Villa is planning to sack coach. And then on top of that, when Villa parted way with coach that is on Saturday, that's when the news broke that they parted ways with the coach. It so happens, like lectures that came out, he was sacked immediately. And then this period they're talking about is Villa had wanted to go to Sekafa Kagame Cup using a bus. And the coach said, no, you can't spend over 48 hours on the road, yet you are going to play tournament. You have to use the plane. You are saying we are saving on the costs, blah, 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 blah. The money. Coach said, no, the players have to play. Guess what? Plane. The coach fought the battle, and won the battle. They had to use the plane to go to Tanzania. Leaving that aside, he got some complications in Tanzania, of course. He was coaching, but he wasn't feeling well. I think he had bacteria infection. And on coming back, they told him they're going to use the bus. He insisted, no, I'm not using the bus. Can we use the plane as your team? The management insisted, no, it can't. At the end of the day, the coach used the plane and the management had the entire team, the rest of the team, but they spent, I think, over 48 hours on the road from TZ to Uganda. When he came back, of course, he went to the hospital and they got to know it was some bacterial infection and he got the treatment and everything. Leaving that aside, before Samakula left, he had told them, shouldn't let go of any player. We need to just add in more players. Can we give these players the contracts they need? Because we are going to play a big tournament. We are going to play these small things. We are now going to Champions League, Cup Champions League. Can we just add in 4 or 5 players instead of letting the players go? I think they didn't listen to him. They were saying the players are this, but the players were asking for one thing, their money, because Gavin was just from Villa, higher investment. He was asking for his money. They promised him, because they promised him money after winning the championship. Yeah. This is a team which has won you the 70th championship. You haven't won in 20 years. What do you do? Please make sure that you give them what you promised as a token of appreciation. So Gavin was asking for his token of appreciation of what I've done for the team. Yeah. At the end of the day, they are saying it's in display. So that's why I say in Ugandan sports, if someone comes out and talks, that's in display. But I'm hearing all the things which are true. As a player, I need my money. As a coach, I need to make sure my team is strong. Because I'm not coaching the team, or you're just a manager. Can you give me the players I need? Can you make sure my players are in the team? Let me do my job as a coach. Yeah. Why saying it's in discipline? Why making sure my players are living, which letting go of two leaders of the team captain. When Semakula left, Gavin took over. What next? Gavin has also left. Which leader do you have now on the team? Who's going to be the captain of the team? Because these are leaders who have been with the team, they know the team so well. They've been with the team in ups and downs. And what next year? They are disciplined. Because you won the championship, you have your 17 championships. On record, you're the best. You have the bigger record in Uganda. At times, management acts in a weird way, but the coach was absolutely right what he was doing. Of course, he wrote a touching farewell message to the fans, to the club, to the players, how he's going back to Serbia to do some other things, blah blah. Of course, his family, but at the end of the day, we know how it all happened. And when you are chosen, the management used to do something, but the management that told you in Uganda, that's what next, you're fired. So that's what's happening in the Villa camp.
Yeah, and for me personally, I feel Villa is not really ready for continental football. They have not really invested. They barely won the league last season, and looking at the budget that goes with continental football, they are really scrapping their way through this. And for a professional coach like that, leave alone playing in domestic league. Domestic league is different from continental football. I think he had hoped for a budget to expand his squad. What did Villa do? Villa could not renew contracts of these players. They were struggling to meet their bonuses, and the CEO, as I said, came back and said we don't do sign-on fees. What Villa should know that you cannot run football the way you've been running football in the old times. I remember speaking to one of their CEOs who lasted for 1 month. That was Isaac Mwesugwa. This was through my private conversation with him. He said that these people are not professional. And we had news that there is an official from FIFA who is in charge of signing players. You get. You find like the CEO does not have the powers, fully powers to really run his project. And you see the coach also is lacking the budget. He has his team, he has his players. What Villa would have done would really consolidated his squad and try to really play and push further on the continent. But you would see that the same script that is really coming up with not only Villa, these local teams that you plan to go to play continental football, you find like most of their players after they scored leaves and they don't have even the squad depth to play continental football. The At best Villa will just make it into the second round, but going into the group stages, it is going to really take a lot for Villa. Yeah, and so disappointing. I even didn't know. Thanks for really bringing out that a team like Villa now, you're playing continental football. You shouldn't really subjecting your players through moving with buses. 48 hours. I've traveled through that journey from Dar es Salaam to Kampala. It is hectic. You come back here when you're really tired. I mean, that was really, really disappointing for the management. They should have even at least fundraised. Villa has a bigger base. Fundraise for that trip, you know, but don't really subject and these things have always come out. I remember even this guy, what's his name? Uh, Isaac Chidavida, the captain. He talked about when they had gone to Tanzania, they were not giving them their bonuses, they were giving them less money. That kind of management will not work in modern football. They have to really revise that and change that concept. Otherwise, we shall be just doing tours, only tours. But in terms of really playing football and being recognized on the continent, that will take a time. Apart from KCC and Vipers that have really tried that, but you still see that we are still struggling in that aspect. Yeah. So anyway, we advanced this conversation. Let's Rugby Afrique happened this weekend, and Uganda managed.
Now, before
Uh,
before you go to rugby,
okay.
Emma,
Yeah.
can we finish up with the transfers of Shaban going to Libya? We talk about a few things. We finish up with football first, then we head to rugby.
Okay. Absolutely. Yeah. So we had this week. Shaban traveled to Al Hilal, a team that will be playing against Chitara in the first preliminary stages. Last week, we were here talking about how KCCA could not break the bank to secure Shaban's signature. That was in the range of 100 million Ugandan shillings. And we also saw that we talked about that, and we even mentioned the competition. I remember talking about the teams come from the region, the teams from Tanzania and in the Maghreb region, and ended up going to the Maghreb region in Libya. This transfer, we saw it coming. It's the same script. Teams cannot really retain their best players, and they end up leaving these players. And I don't know whether we, as a footballing nation, we are ready to play continental football in terms of the budget, in terms of the pockets, or we are just there to groom players, more like an academy kind of program.
I would say I was saddened with the departure of Muhammad Japan, but we saw it coming after the negotiations did go well with KCCA because KCCA, I'm sure KCCA was willing to is all that money to him. That's like over 100 million to him, like how we wanted it to be. But of course, negotiations are going on with his agent, with the different teams, And at the end of the day, the Libyan team won the battle. Because this is going to be second spell in
Mm,
North Africa, playing football in North Africa. And I'm sure now he's mature. He has matured enough in terms of playing football and in terms of his, because he was always a short tempered man, in terms of his temper, in terms of his character as well. This one is really matured enough because literally you see him, he's a calm guy, he talks in a calm way. He's not these crazy boys of Odumparaka who used to be those days of Paraka before he went to Vipers. He was a crazy man. But now he has matured enough. I know he knows what to do. And I expect the good out of him because we saw him at how he played at the Uganda Cranes games. I was delivering how he scored that goal for the Cranes as well.
mm,
We expect the good out of him, and with the club he has gone to, he won't be under pressure because I know it's not all that big. They're going to play, of course, Cup Confederations Cup. It's not all that big. Like he has gone to El Ahly, he has gone to Sundown, he's gone to a club which is, of course, not all that big, but it's a big club in Libya. But I expect deliverance from him. That's what I would wish for the best from him.
mm,
And it's not only him who has left KCCA. We saw even over the weekend, Mustafa Chiza bidding farewell to KCCA fans and also the club itself, meaning he's leaving the club as well after his return from professional football. I'm sure he has gotten a deal and he's going now to go pro as well to play football. So KCA is losing senior players and experienced players. I don't know how they're going to do it, but with Coach Abdallah Mubiru, I know he's not a disappointing coach and the signings he's making.
mm,
He's trying to build up another different kind of team which
mm,
competed into the Ghana Premier League as
mm,
well as Uganda Cup and also make sure they win the championship this season, this coming season. So we expect a lot from SCC. I can't say they're not signing players, no. These ones are leaving, but of course additions are coming in as well. So even rumor of a child leaving the club also have come in. So we might see more players in SCC for the one generation players who are still under, I would say, Mike Mutebi. Most of them are leaving the club. So we expect a new faces at KCCA. But all in all, with the signing of Bright Anakuni back to the team, it was a big addition for KCCA because they brought back their boy is a prodigal son of KCCA, so they brought him back from Vipers. That's a good adjustment, and also the new strikers they brought in and other players they brought in. So the team isn't bad enough.
mm,
Uh, I would say they'll still compete with the likes of Bull, the likes of Vipers, the likes of Neck, which are signing players, the likes of
mm,
Chitara, which are also signing players. So this season we are going to see a lot of
mm.
competition happening into the league. So we expect an interesting season from these clubs. So whoever is going to miss out on football, Ghana football, I don't know what you be telling you, but it's going to be so interesting. So,
Absolutely. It's going to really be an interesting season. We have always predicted that on this show. looking at what is at stake. But I would want to ask you before you move on this issue of Mustafa Chiza. Uh, what what players should learn from the Mustafa Chiza situation is that opportunities in the professional setup, you should always take it with open hand. Like you should really not make mistakes. You got an opportunity to play in Montreal. I went to Montreal. Actually, Montreal was now that was the cream de la cream that it should have been. Yeah, and that is should really be done even in the grooming stages. You saw when he came back, he was still really not settled in the mentally. That frustration, you saw him really having this argument with Coach Abdallah Mubiru at Bright Stars. I would see the player wasn't really ready to settle in the local setup. But we wish him the best, but the same. And this is the same opportunity that Shaban has gotten. Remember him going to Raja Casablanca, it also failed. But I hope this time that it's a 1 year deal, but I hope from there he will move on. This issue of coming back and having a soft landing in the local league, it's not really going to really make it unless you have a very different mentality. And that's one lesson that we should learn from this transfer, especially the Mustafa Chiza one. But we wish him the best. But I would really suggest that he leaves the country and tries to play in a more European-like kind of professional setup for him to really progress very well. Yeah. So let's check out Rugby Africa. We hosted here Rugby Afrique. Many would say that it was a well-hosted tournament last year. The tournament was taken away from us, and it was played in France. It was an African tournament, but played in France. But the Zimbabwe Sables managed to really win the tournament after 12 years. It has really been dominated by Namibia. And that's why Namibia has always been representing uh, Africa in the World Rugby World Cup. So it was a very good game. There are some key players that I wanted to pick out. Favor Guruwe, who was instrumental in setting up Zimbabwe in the past in the victory with 2 tries in the first half. However, it wasn't until the final 7 minutes of the match that the Sables could truly relax against Algeria. Sorry, they replaced the rower Liam Laken and open side Godfrey Muzana Gro. Each added a try, sealing the victory for the Zimbabwe Sepals. This is remarkable. But when I was looking at all this permutation in the group stages, I think for us, Uganda, we had a very difficult part. Remember, we played Zimbabwe, then we had Burkina Faso in there, which were all tricky games. And you look at the team that reached the final, Algeria, he cruised through with the win against Senegal, through one against Kenya. But I feel Uganda, well, they finished fifth overall with that game, the ranking game against Senegal, which was really nail biting game that went to overtime, 34-31, with Joseph Aredo's kick. I like the whole setup this time. Magomo was really consistent. Ivan Magomo with his conversion. Timothy Siga came in there. But what did you really pick out from this tournament? And I also want to give Rugby Union the credit for organizing such a beautiful tournament. It was smooth. We didn't have any hiccups. The ticketing was so perfect. I don't know what you pick out from there, Miss Hudson.
I'll first of all say thanks to the union for the incredible job they did because it was a smooth tournament. Those were the hiccups of what you see in football. People enjoyed rugby, rugby, they were having fun. The drinks were moving on well, the eats were moving on well. We didn't hear stories of this one has dropped, this one has been beaten. Such
Mhm.
it was Guru Guru as well. I would say that it was an interesting tournament because people go and be like, I'm going to Nambola to watch rugby, and they come back like, wow, this has been interesting. People are sitting properly, people are standing up, people are cheering.
Mhm.
Everything was moving on smoothly. Well, uh, leaving that aside, of course, we lost to Zimbabwe in our quarterfinals. It's our first game by 2 points. That's in 2022. So the heartbreak, it broke most of us, and everyone was like, that was our game, that was our game, because we had a bad first half, but in
Mhm.
second half we came back strong and we delivered. The boys delivered because I would say Philip Okorachi had 15 points in that game. whereby it showed leadership and showed professionalism in that game. Of course, we played Burkina Faso and we won that game. Then we played our last game of the day against Senegal, which we saw Timothy Chisinga making the last try, and people ran into the pitch, screaming, that is incredible. That is something we would want to see. The fans wouldn't believe it because the way he made that try, the way he came from our half to the way he ran through those guys finishing that try, it showed what you call be like, I can do this. And moving forward, of course, Zimbabwe, which beat us, of course, won the championship. Congratulations to them. And also the man who beat us is one who was the MVP because it was a big, big threat to everyone. The way he delivered, the way he did his tries, the way he was getting the ball, the way he was running, it was so different from other guys. But generally, it was a good tournament, a successful tournament. No team complained. People had fun. We saw teams going to Ham to work out from there. Of course, they are enjoying Uganda generally. We saw Kenyans saying, "Man, this is Uganda. We have come to enjoy Uganda." They enjoyed Uganda. And the advantage we have is we are still hosting the World Cup qualifiers next year, so that in Uganda. So, and it will be still at Nambole. So we still have an opportunity. The World Cup qualifiers now, we expect a stronger side from Uganda, and we are going to be competitive, not just think of like participating. This time we are competitive, but of course we lost in a heartbreaking way. That game against Zimbabwe. Still, I can't forget it because I was there to watch what happened. Everyone was heartbroken, but later, at the end of the day, entertainment from Cabedion, people changed their ways. Cabedion entertained them, they started screaming, they had their fun. Ugandans, they're like, let's have fun, let's enjoy this now special, let's enjoy this other drink. Of course, Ugandans had their blast. But generally, it was a good, successful tournament. Thanks to Uganda Rugby Union for the good work they've done and to show other federations that we can pull off this thing in a good respect. And everyone will appreciate the job you've done. Thank you very much to the Rugby Union and to the players out there who participated, to the players who played for Uganda. That was a good job you did. We expect more from you. We saw young boys coming up, the singles playing some good rugby. We saw the brother Philip also delivering some good game. We saw rookies coming to the team and delivering. So generally, thanks to the coach Mudola for the good work he's done, and also the coaching staff for the good work they've done. Because it wasn't them, we wouldn't have been number 5. It wasn't them, we wouldn't be where we are right now. Because rankings, of course, now we are ahead of Kenya in the rankings now worldwide after this tournament. So credit to the coach, the players, everyone for the good job.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of the rankings, these are the score. These are the Sunday results. Seventh place, Cote d'Ivoire won against Burkina Faso, and that eliminated them from the six format tournament. Burkina Faso was the team that was relegated after losing to Cote d'Ivoire 23-10. Fifth place, that was Senegal and versus Uganda. Uganda won that 34-31. Third place, that was Kenya versus Namibia, 27-38 Namibia. Then the final, Zimbabwe dominant against Algeria, 29-3. The rankings also came out. Uganda really looking at their progress. This is the World Rugby rankings after coming from Mauritius with that with the title and really performing in this tournament. Uganda only lost one game, unlike Kenya that lost 2 games. So their rankings really affected Kenya. Uganda finished. Uganda is, I think, 36 and Kenya is 37, and the champions 28th. That is in the world rankings. Quite interesting there from rugby, and we really hope next season the tournament will be played again in Kampala. And by this time, I believe we shall really be prepared. We shall have good squad depth. One thing I liked about this tournament is that Coach Mudola was really willing to really bring in new faces. He was not shy to bring in new faces. Sebuzi Shafik from Malukuba, and bringing in Onen. These are people who came in like in their debuts, and surprisingly, the squad tries in their debuts. That shows that there's talent out there in the league, and I want the coach really experiment with all these players. Yeah, so let's close this segment with European transfer. Arsenal signed Calafiori for 42 million pounds. With this, I don't know where he fits in the defense because Arsenal had one of the best defense last season, but Mikel Arteta felt that he needed another defender. Smith Rowe also leaving. A lot of players leaving. What do you expect of this signing, and what do you expect of Arsenal? Is this a break or make season for Mikel Arteta? Because most of Arsenal fans are like, if he doesn't win the trophy this season, he will get the shaft.
I just love the way the fans react to something. Okay, the fact is, Calafiori is a good signing for us. It's a good signing for Arsenal because it's going to play as a left back and play as a central defender as well. But the main thing which brought him into the Arsenal team is that left back. Because, of course, we saw Zinchenko somehow struggling last season. And we saw Rico playing as a left back, and his reposition is central defense. Of late, football somehow changed, evolved a little because Zinchenko on Ukraine team he plays as a midfielder, but Arsenal is playing as left back. When you look at now Timber can play as a left back, can play as a central defender, can play as a midfielder. So he's trying to get a better team which is like deep enough. Look at Man City team. Man City team is so deep because when Pep press someone, everyone can be like, how come this one is not in the team? No, we don't want to hear such things from Arsenal. Be like, okay, Saliba is rested. Of course, he was there to defense. You got Calafiori, you got Gabriel to defense. Be like, okay, they work so well because they've proven to the fans that we can deliver. This is now what it took. Now imagine Saliba is injured, out 1 month. Who's going to play that central defense? Who's going to be his replacement? All that, they're saying players are likely to fill up those gaps of play to make sure that if someone is out, like we saw how we struggled in the midfield when Pata was out. Of course, Rice was there into the midfield, but of course Rice was there, played some good game, but Rice with Pate, there's a big difference. You see a big difference in their guys on pitch. So when you see teams signing some players, they're like, how come they got this one? What is he going to do? That get a better team which can deliver. Because these games are so many. You're playing Carabao Cup, you're playing Champions League, you're playing FA, you're playing Premier League. These players are not resting. Generally, their bodies also get tired. Yeah. That's why they're busy complaining about this FIFA Club Championship tournament. They're like, no. It is too much. We play too much for it. We need to rest as well. So it is a good addition to the team, and that player will help us. That player will help us so well. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of mixed reactions in the preseason, but in particular, I want us to really conclude with the Chelsea Maresca ball. Chelsea has not won any game in the preseason. The first game came with a 2-2 draw with Wrexham, a disastrous 2-2 with the League One side, and this is a team that has spent close to $1 billion, and they got a new coach, and they were thumped by Celtics 4-1. Celtics has really been a very good team in the preseason. I don't know, as you conclude this, is Maresca ball going to work in the Premier League? Because he came out and was trying to talk about that there's a system he wants, and the players are not grasping the system very well. And this is a preseason, at least even if the system wasn't really being implemented fully in the squad, but you cannot lose against a League One Wrexham. I don't know what you make of Chelsea. Are we going to have a very disastrous season for this team that was really that has been really invested in?
I'll start. I'll start with that discussion of Chelsea. Of course, they're signing players. It is too much. Not only they started from last season, they signed over how many players? Over 8 players last season. On top of that, Pochettino was trying to do some what next? You let go of such a coach who was trying to do something for you guys. Now you brought in a new coach. On top of that, you're signing new players because you signed a goalkeeper. You want to let go of your captain, who's in talks with Atletico Madrid.
Mm.
You know, so generally they're trying to get something. Generally, I don't know what I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing.
Mm.
No, remember QPR? Remember QPR of the team which was relegated? How they signed over 18 players into
18
one season,
players.
and what
Mm.
next? That team comes to field, and what next? They were relegated.
Mm.
Till now, till now they've never come back. Till now they've
Mm.
never come back. With all the money they spent. And this is what
Mm.
Chelsea is doing. They're busy signing every kind of player who comes
Player.
across into their eye. But why do you let go of a coach but who's experienced in Premier League, who's trying to build a team? Yeah, and let go of such a coach. On top of that, letting go of senior players from your team.
Mm.
Of course, James is there as the captain. The assistant captain is leaving the midfielder.
Mm.
Because as a command he talks with him. What does it want? What are you showing? What are you trying to do as the man? Just buying players randomly. You build
Mm.
a maybe just build a business and just buy players. You know, you need to bring in guys who are good at the league so well. Because Premier League is not easy.
Yeah.
You get a
Most of
guy
and
from
most of
Girona, what
mm.
next? It becomes a flop.
A flop. And most of these players are coming from foreign leagues. At least if they had signed domestically, you would see some cohesion. But most of the players are coming from foreign leagues. It's like you bring a new team in a league. Yeah, he's going to really struggle. He's going to really struggle. He might really pick form, but as you're absolutely right. Pochettino was actually, if you look at Chelsea at the end of last season, they were trying to really now pick up really valuable points, and you could see the team is trying to stabilize, but the panic in Old Trafford really led to them sacking Pochettino, and now the results are not really coming forth, especially in the preseason. So there's panic. The coach has come out to say that we should not panic, but the Premier League, when the Premier League starts with the match day one, the first weekend, it's already now, it's a blockbuster now. Yeah, every team, it's a very hard team, away and coming back home. You have to really beat the best teams to really get these points. It's going to really be hard for Chelsea. Yeah, anyway, thank you so much, Miss Hudson. Today, that's all we had for you today. It has been an interesting show. We talked about basketball. We shall be really following South African basketball in the Olympics, and also on the 11th, we shall be really be talking about athletics. But right now, there are some games that Africans really highly participate in. Games like diving, swimming, rowing. Mountain biking, archery. So those are games that, especially Ugandans, we didn't really take participants in there. But we'll wait for the athletics, and we shall really bringing you updates on that. With me here, I want to thank you, Hudson, for really coming up and providing us this time. And we had a very interesting show. Thank you. Every Tuesday we are here. Bye.